Tonight we look at Black Panther. $426 million in blockbuster. But is it worth the hype? Also, you've heard of hot dogs might not be sandwiches, or maybe you're an asshole. Have you heard the new thing about ravioli? I hope not. And also, anything else we're probably going to talk about. Welcome to Content Pending, the show. It felt all right.
I like it.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to Content Pending, the show. My name is Travis.
I am Dylan.
And we are podcast professionals. We have been doing podcasts for over 300 episodes. We produced and engineered and recorded and acted in a lot of different podcasts. And we evolved one of our favorites, Drunkcast Live, into Content Pending, the show. Drunkcast was a lot of fun. We'd hang out here in Austin, Texas at Don's Depot, and we'd have some drinks and have some laughs. And we wanted to kind of put a tie on it, maybe a bow tie, a fun bow tie maybe. And have a little bit more, maybe a spinning bow tie only if the joke's really good, or only if she's pretty. Our show, we like to try to focus on topics that have happened over the week with interesting people. We'd like to try to dive into the topics in individual segments, and we're trying to still figure a lot of that out because we have recorded a lot of episodes of podcasts, but not a many has been as focused as what we're trying to do with this. So we'll still have some laughs, and if you like Drunkcast Live before, you're gonna like this. And if you don't like what we do here, just listen to the next episode, which is it's Content Pending After Hours, which is basically just Drunkcast. That's the plan, and we're sticking to it.
All right.
I said interesting people. First, let me say who I am. My name is, like I said, my name is Travis, and I am I'm a comedian enthusiast. I love music, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it. I've been watching all the Marvel movies, and I pay attention to comic books and so much nerd stuff. I probably need to define that down, to distill it or liquefy it.
No, it sounds like you.
Yeah, I mean, it is me, but also, there's a lot of people who do that, so...
There's a lot of internet out there.
Yeah. I do love some Pokemon. No, that's not... I'm trying... What's unique about me, Dylan?
You had your own little Pokemon Go smartwatch attachment thing.
I did.
That makes you
I lost that forever.
A 14-year-old.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, one of us has to live forever. But with me, as always, is Dylan. Dylan, wanted to explain who you are?
I am a movie/TV guy.
For sure.
A photo industry professional. A general media junkie. And occasional grumpy old man.
Oh, junkie. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
That's really smart. I should keep that next time I try to explain myself. Yeah. It's like saying fusion when you're like, it's kind of like this and this, instead of just saying it's Dave Matthews Band inspired. No
one has ever said Dave Matthews Band inspired.
A lot of people like Dave Matthews Band who started bands are like, no, we're inspired by Dave Matthews Band, but they try to we're rock and jazz fusion. It's like junkie. Sorry.
It's a whole new world.
We're starting over.
That is the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Dave Matthews inspired band.
Yeah, I can't get behind.
I'll
We're a lot
explain that
like
later.
Dave. Okay, I'm out.
You ever heard Jack Johnson? Well, we started with that as our main influence, man.
Right.
Then we really took it to a new level.
Well, it's like was like Mudvayne or something. It said that they were heavily inspired by Led Zeppelin. And it was like an Onion article. It said a band whose major influences are bands that don't sound anything like their final whatever, like Mudvayne or not Blue Oyster Cult, but whatever. Anyway, so yes, that's us.
Yeah,
and that's who we are for Content Pending. I mentioned interesting people. I have Dylan Canfield over here on my left hand side.
Yes, sir.
He's a tech industry, and I wouldn't say enthusiast. I wouldn't even say professional yet, but you have the gift, man.
Well, I play the part.
You play the part, yeah, yes. Sure. You're a bike messenger, bicyclist. I keep wanting to say enthusiast because it just sounds so nice. What else do we not know about you that people who've never heard your voice or know you would?
I'm the silent partner. I show up and then don't say much.
Okay, cool.
That's true.
So we'll
occupy a mic.
Look forward to not hearing about that later.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And then across from him is Adam McWaters.
Hello.
One of my favorite people of all time. He loves beer, knows a lot about comics, and a lot about international politics, which will be important as we continue on with the Trump administration, I'm sure. But
America first, goddammit.
America first. Well, I mean, yeah.
Nobody learned anything about that. We're all learning as we go.
Yes.
That is true.
And that's the purpose, yeah. So we have a panel. We're going to talk about the things that I said in the cold open and some other things that have happened over the week as we consider them. I'm sure there's going to be some things that you guys have thought about or want to think about as we move forward. But right now, just general topic. We're just looking at finally the winter is kind of trying to be over in Austin. I'm warm in a long sleeve shirt, rolling my sleeves up for the first time.
Yeah.
It's my first sweat of the year.
Yeah,
I made that very mistake today going to the store.
Yeah,
And I was like, why did I wear this hoodie?
yeah, it's nice.
I definitely thought it was colder out here, but it is not.
Well, 2 days ago was freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the 30s.
But 2 days before that,
It was warm.
It was just like this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
spastic ass weather.
but we're here. We're ready for it.
That's right.
And as I said, with Don's Depot, we always work out at the patio at Don's Depot, and they've taken care of us for
Ever.
thousands.
It's just worth noting. The home base, Don's Depot,
It's always Don's Depot.
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas.
One of the things that makes this show unique, if you're new to listening to any of our ramblings, we record the show at a bar live.
Yeah, and around people. Like
Yeah, we have an audience sometimes.
usually have a table full of other people. There's we'll have randos. They'll pop up and whatever we can. And one of the benefits of what we're trying to do with this show is to try to stay away from it, but it's also just really nice to be able to be out, not in a booth, not siloed off from the rest of the universe, because funny
can do
things
that.
happen all the time. Yeah, because anyone can do that. Yeah.
Or some whack ass shit over Skype.
Yes.
No, thank you.
That's the cheapest one.
No.
I mean, big shout out to people who do it right on Skype.
And if Skype wants to give us any money to... Hey, if you like Skype, you like the show.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just get 4 laptops and then set up Skype between the 4 of us and record that way,
I'm glad this is episode 1 of this, and I've already sabotaged something. So my
That's what he does,
contract
everybody.
is getting fulfilled.
But yeah, the Don Depot, our home away from home. This is an amazing place, and if you're in Austin, come buy drinks from them.
Absolutely. It's one of the cheapest places to drink. It's an old established place. It has a
Historic.
great smoking patio. And if you're watching the video, which you'll probably see it on youtube.com/content pending, you could watch Dylan or Canthel.
You're gonna see people smoke.
Yeah, well, we'll see people smoke. And we can smoke out here, which is great. Much to the chagrin of Adam and Dylan, of course. But whatever, it's one of the most wonderful places in the world. It's also built out of train cars, which is fucking really nice.
It is.
Charming, as it were. Yeah. Whatever. If you are going to go check out the video, please subscribe. Please like some stuff, and then add some comments and tell us what you like or what you don't like or what you want to see. Because we're trying a couple of different variants out of trying to do if we're going to do multicam or if we're just going to do a single cam or whatever it might be. Let us know. You can also let us know specifically at 802-359-7468. That is still the shot line. It's taken over from Drunkcast because it's still
it will never die.
it will never die. And you can leave messages and we'll listen to your voicemails, or you can text us, which is fun.
Or we won't.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you came to Don's?
It was before I think you and I actually met.
Yeah.
Or around that time, which is we're going 13 years or so we met.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was either right before then or right around the time.
Yep.
Before we started really hanging out as friends. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Bumped your laptop there.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
With a heavy duty case.
Yeah, brought to you by
First time I came to Don, it was a long time ago. Maybe 2001 or 2, I think.
Oh, hot damn.
Because I remember that there. Here's why I remember this specifically. At the time, the swing thing was still kind of going on a little bit. And there was a band that was...
I thought we as a culture decided not to talk about swing ever again.
Again, this was 2001.
After that time, we
yeah.
decided that.
But there was a band that was really good that did swing variations of rock songs.
Cool.
Like they would do Back in Black, but Back in Black, I hit the side, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So they played here.
Like Richard Cheese, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But they used to play down at the Ritz, Alamo Ritz, before it was the movie theater. It was actually a really cool bar. Upstairs. Downstairs was a shithole pool lounge.
Mm-hmm.
But they used to play there all the time, and my friend Dave and I used to go there all the time. And they were playing here one time. We just wanted to see them. So we said, "What the hell's Don's? It's a train car? Okay." In fact, I'm pretty sure there wasn't even a patio back then.
Yeah, no.
It was just inside only.
There was a patio, but I don't think they had a roof.
That may have been it.
There are holes in all the patio furniture, all the tables that we sit in, because they're basically picnic tables, and there's these holes, and that's where the umbrellas used to sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been a
fascinating.
hot minute. It's been a few years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And yet, this ancient place existed millennia
it's been here since 70
before you showed up.
73.
1874, 1873, something like that.
But but then you and I started hanging out years and years ago. I've kind of not gone anywhere else since.
Yeah.
It's literally the best place to hang out.
There's no
if you're
other
in
place in the
Austin.
world,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, I mean there is, but
No, there's not.
No, there's not. No. 2001.
They let us do our show here.
They
They
let us
sure
get
do.
away with a lot here.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, once we're done with the show, this place will be packed. Like, we're not taking away any business.
Yeah, we always get the chance to record before the band starts playing because they have live music every night. Don, the guy who owns the place, will play very often with his son, Matt. We have really good relationships with both of those guys. But they'll play if they're not someone else playing, if it's not a Sunday. And but we come in before the band starts. About the time you start hearing the music from the band is when we know we need to shut down because it's not that it gets too loud. It's just like we've just been here for 4 hours.
Yes,
You
that
know.
means we got here at 5 and it's 9:30 or something.
Right,
Okay.
right. And it's
And we don't. Again, if you're for those who are new to this show, new to us as show people, we don't do this show sober.
well,
ish.
Ish, yeah.
How about without drinks?
Yes, and we still celebrate the things that we're talking about at least, or deaden them, or mitigate their problems, or whatever. You know,
So one of the original concepts we had when we started doing any kind of podcasting was we wanted to capture the conversations we always have just kind of normally hanging out,
right?
and that's what you're going to get with the show. And of course, most of the time we do that, we're doing what everyone else here at home does. Talk about Trump, you get depressed, you drink. Okay, so we do that too.
Right. Yeah.
We just do it
We sharpen the edge and then we
just do it
smooth it off yeah.
together and share it with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just take it right off.
And that's the goal. Is like in general, but like that's why content pinning is important to try to focus it a little bit more than just
Absolutely.
absolutely anything. But absolutely anything is a lot of fun. That's the reason why the after hours exist because we'll still have that itch as we start to get a little bit more refined in what this show is supposed to be.
New fences.
Yeah, new fences. Well, let's go ahead and actually wrap up this first segment. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about some stuff. And we'll. Welcome back to the show. Content Bendings, the show. I'm still Travis.
I'm still Dylan.
Hanging out here, of course, with Dylan Canfield, which we call Billy. In
Billy.
the first segment, I didn't mention Billy, which is much easier.
If you can actually see his shirt, it does say
It does say Billy.
Billy's. That's how you know it's his shirt.
And across from his Anna McWaters. So something I didn't actually mention in the cold open that I think is actually fascinating and we probably should talk about is saying goodbye to Snapchat. I don't know if you guys saw this. This
No.
is super fascinating.
What happened?
So let's see. It was Thursday.
This is new to me. So.
Thursday. We're all familiar with the Jenner family as part of the
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
the Kardashian /
Jenner
Jenner
family.
family. Kylie Jenner tweeted on
Eternal
Thursday.
fuck up.
Stop. Kylie Jenner tweeted, "So, does anyone else not open Snapchat anymore, or is it just me? Ugh, this is so sad." That was on Wednesday, excuse me. Thursday, Snapchat stock plunged 6%, or $1.3 billion. Billion with a B.
Because of a Kylie Jenner tweet.
Because of a Kylie Jenner tweet. So I don't know, and like Adam, I didn't mean to really cut you off because that is a very it's true. She's a fuck up. I don't know what she does. I don't know what Kylie Jenner actually does except
Apparently,
for
she
being a social
affects
thing.
the market at $1 billion increments.
Yeah. Apparently, she influences hundreds of thousands and millions of people whenever
Yeah.
she tweets something, which is our fault.
It is our fault. She did tweet later. Still love you though. Snap, my first love, which is sweet. A lot of this is Snapchat going under fire for redesigning the app in a way where you actually can't see the updates from your friends immediately because it used to be. It's a social media app. It's like if they said, well, let's try to get this idea. Let's do the ad. Let's do the sponsored content. And let's, instead of having like how Facebook does it, where it's like you see some stuff from your friends and then sponsored content and then it kind of dispersed in, they just made the entire first page just sponsored fucking content from special channels that you might not even be subscribed to.
They're like
to
the
which-
Hulu of social media.
They're like the Hulu of social media. Their redesign was so bad that there was a change.org petition of 1.2 million people
I saw that to go back to the
asking them to go back to the redesign.
Let's bring the government into this.
Yeah, well, right. So that
Put it back. Put it back.
so that's already been a problem, but just like so the conversation I want to have here is why is it I don't would say fair. Well, that's like my first like gut reaction is why is it fair? But like, why could a person who actually does not actually handle finance have that much influence over us?
America.
America.
Because of our
Would you like to expand on that? I mean,
No, that says it all.
okay. Next topic.
Yes, our extra litigious and celebrity worshipping culture.
We have a lot of starfuckers.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's actually probably the root of the problem is it's starfuckery as people looking at entertainment, and then also the unfortunate culture that is really behind a lot of that is that there's a large chunk of people out there who want to be famous, and that's what a lot of these platforms are there for. Like they want that validation, they want their followers to like them, whatever. So unfortunately, when you have an environment that loves worshiping people who are famous, and all the worshipers want to also be famous, you have an unfortunate influence over those people that can cause $1 billion dip in a company's value.
Yeah.
Because again, a great way of looking at this, I can't remember who said it first, but it's something like, if you're not buying a product from the company, you are the product.
Yep.
Yes.
And
if the product's free, then you are. Yeah.
Yeah. In the case of every social media, you are the product.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're making money off you liking things, posting things, engaging things, buying things through ads.
Well, and it's a really funny place too. A lot of startups, like, because Twitter really didn't have any kind of advertising or promotional content for a really long time in its
Twitter
life.
didn't actually make any money until just last year.
Yeah, but it was
Did they actually make money last year?
Yeah, they actually
I thought
made-
they were still like.
Well, a profit.
Not really.
They made a profit last year for the first
They
time.
finally
in
made profit.
Their 10-year history.
Well, and then that's my point. Is like, I don't know if Snapchat has ever made any money either.
I think just when they sold
It
out.
says in the article that the Snap CEO made $638 million last year. In just angel investors and just people who were hoping that eventually it's going to work. And it's and I'm going to bring up HQ in a second too, because I don't think it's also really, really interesting. But it's like, Twitter didn't make any money, but it just had lots and lots of money ready for someone to buy it, so it also wouldn't make any money. It wasn't until advertising came in.
Yeah.
And Snapchat to just take that really super crazy risk. It's nuts. It's nuts that they won't even consider going back. I mean, because it's not like Hulu. People complain about Hulu, but eventually the people who complain about Hulu will die off and say, "Well,
They will perish.
I want to watch this show, and it's only on Hulu." So, I mean, that's that model. But like,
Just have to watch Perfect Stranger season 3. Just have to.
right?
Mary Tyler Moore show.
Oh, is that on Hulu as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny stuff, though.
Oh, well, that's actually funny stuff. Yeah. I mean, I like Perfect Strangers. That's all fair stuff.
But the point, though, is
Yeah, and it's so weird. So, like, I'm staying with Kylie Jenner for a second. That influence drives me fucking nuts, and I agree with that. It's just so fascinating because I think it was a Jon Stewart quote. It was Jon Stewart or Trevor Noah or John Oliver. One of these motherfuckers. One of these liberal jackasses like me, who mentioned that your typical Trump voter or someone who would actually vote for that kind of reason, they don't see themselves as poor. They see them as
pre-rich.
They see themselves as temporarily embarrassed millionaires, which I think is a wonderful quote.
Nice.
Slumming.
They're slumming, and eventually, people who worry about estate tax, the people who worry about the taxes really in general, the super libertarian kinds of people. Hi, Chris Lloyd. No, not Chris Lloyd, because he actually has particular reasons for it that I disagree with, but whatever. Is that there's a thing that will eventually affect them, And I have people in my family who do the same thing. One day I'm going to win the lottery, so the estate tax has to go.
Yeah.
Like, why are you affecting yourself in this role where 25 million, because 25 million viewers that Kylie Jenner has, or people that follow her, that will just drop so heavily that Snapchat's base might disappear forever. Is that nuts?
It is nuts.
It is.
And it is our fault. But.
It is our fault. It is the West Wing. Watching the West Wing now is like okay. So we've talked in various platforms about Aaron Sorkin's,
Mind.
yeah, the way he writes something, it's like, I had to fight with my girlfriend. This is what I should have said to her.
Yeah.
Character says this.
Yeah.
That perfect hindsight kind
He's the avatar of the stairwell. Yeah.
What's never been more prescient is watching old episodes of The West Wing now, because you see it's a perfect blueprint of what you should be doing in government today.
Right.
Like, topic by topic, you can pick anything. It's like, okay, episode 4, season 1. Oh, they top of that. Just say what they said on TV, and you will win the argument. It's like,
Sure.
It's like,
sure.
just prove how dumb the Trump people are. Like, it's already been done on TV for you. just say this.
Thanks, Aaron Sorkin.
But where I was going with that was there's one episode. There's a quote, something like the problem with the American dream is that everyone thinks they deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing the quote, but the point being, the American dream, the idea is you can achieve if you work hard. And
If you work hard
believe it.
and not just assume,
But
yeah.
it's not given to you.
It's not given. It's fought for. And it shouldn't be as easy. Because part of the American dream, like when growing up, and I was born in 79, 38-ish. My version of the American dream was always write the best American novel. I don't know why that was a thing. It's just like, that's how I thought you made it.
Hunter S. Thompson is the
Being a movie star, but that meant just being found. Like, read the magazine the right way, and then some guy sees and is like, I love the way you read that magazine. Come to my film. You got a starring role or
You'd
whatever.
be perfect for what I need.
For a talkie, apparently.
For a talkie.
And in the tech world, the American dream is make a thing so well that Google buys it. You know.
Yeah.
Well, but
Now it's everybody buying for billions of
It
dollars.
wasn't. I don't think it was on any of the previous episodes. But you were
There's
telling
no
me when
previous
you were
episodes,
going to
Yeah, business school.
business school.
Yeah.
It seems that business school teaches you these days not to start a business for the purposes of actually wanting to do a thing,
Sure.
but to make something that gains enough attention to be bought out by a bigger business that currently
Yeah.
exists.
So I went back to school a couple years ago to get my business degree, and they literally teach the way to do business is to open a business and immediately get debt, a lot of it.
Sure.
Because that means you have loans and cash, whatever.
Right.
And then you have a value to your company.
Right.
Our company's worth $10 million. We borrowed $10 million. That proves we have that money. We're worth that much money.
And it's also attached to the business, so
Yeah.
you're not really responsible for it if the business fails.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Separate the actual liability of where money goes. It's just the
It's a fascinating thing for people who don't know. Like you make a business name, and that business has all the debt, and there's a really easy chance of saying like, oh well, we failed.
Yes.
And then you walk away without having any debt.
And that actually that's a piece of that puzzle too. But yeah, to Adam's point, yeah, they are teaching kids and young adults who are going back to school, or even older adults who are going back to school to get their further education. To make a business, you A, collect debt, and B, try to sell out.
Yeah.
And that's like taught in school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no, you should make a product or a service, and you should do it well, and you should
Yeah.
manage your money wisely.
It's the anti-Zappos model, you know.
Yeah. And I was shocked by that. Literally, I had tests where the answer was, what you do when you first start a business, get loans. Like, that's not what I should do. The first thing I do. The first thing I should do is, establish what I want to do.
Was go on Shark Tank.
Go on Shark. Well, even Shark Tank has more of the passion that what we should be seeing. You know,
Right.
I have created a widget that does something, and you go in front of people and say, "I've already spent this much money, and I'm just looking for people to help me expand." You know, not hey, please help me buy the thing from me. You know,
Yeah.
But it is that's definitely the American dream now.
It is, and that kind of all circles in with that whole culture idea of
Yeah.
we're all supposed to be rich and famous. It's a matter of when.
Yeah.
And when someone who we follow, because they're rich and famous, says, "I don't like that thing," we respond going, "Oh well, if they don't like it, then I can't. Okay, I'm out."
Yeah, because there's no ROI. Because
Yeah.
like my social ROI or whatever that might be. What reminded me of HQ, I mentioned HQ. HQ is an app. It's a live game show that goes on every single day from at 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock. It's about 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. And it's you pull it up on the app, and it's live with thousands of people. Actually, the last time I saw it was like 1 million people fighting for $2,500 cash prize to come out. And it's a trivia game. It's 12 questions. Some of them are really, really hard, but you just answer live whatever. And there's like a host, an actual live host, and they're all annoying. Which is like the fucking gig of the universe, really. But yeah, so and then on crazier days, like on Sundays, for example, they'll have these really, really massive jackpots. Last Sunday was $25,000, and I have like 1.5 million people fighting for it. And you might have to share it too. I've actually seen sometimes where it's like a $1,500 or $2,500 jackpot would be shared with like enough people that everyone gets about $2,
Yep.
which is fine.
And how much time do they spend trying to earn that $2?
It's like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a quiz show.
It's a quiz show.
basically.
Yeah, I mean it's a super simple quiz show, but the reason why it's relevant to this point or to this conversation is it's free, and there's no ads. Now,
Where are they making the money?
I don't know where they're making money. They
Well,
are. I mean,
we
they
knew where
already.
they were making money or trying to make money historically.
It's the same thing with the angel investors, or like actually just having investors who are pouring money into a thing where they're just not making any money out of it. You know.
Right.
So the best thing I can think of is they're just because just people to host that many people hitting your server at one time is a shitload of infrastructure and money.
Right.
Infrastructure and technology are already paid in for some amount of time and some amount of money, and they've had some problems with the fact that it's been so popular. But yeah,
So my point being, so they just must be making money collecting the data from those users.
I don't give them that much information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's also nuts. Like,
originally, the thing was because like the two guys that started it used to work at Vine and Twitter and things like that.
So they've never actually made any money in their entire lives, except
Correct.
when they sold out to a big.
well, they're rich, but never made any money. Yeah.
So they're fronting all this, right? And the original deal was if you won the quiz and you got $2 or
Yeah.
$6.50 or whatever,
Yeah.
it would go into your account's little pocket, and you couldn't cash out until you had $20 or more.
Right.
But
And it would expire
if
in 90 days
if
or something.
It would expire in 90 days, and you forfeit all of that money.
Okay.
Which got people really pissed when their shit went buggy, and now it doesn't work that way, and now they're looking for people to give them money to keep doing this thing.
Right.
Well,
So basically, the
But-
point being,
yeah.
That's the
if
story.
you'd like to buy our show, we are for sale.
Yes, and eventually, I guess
Because that's just business school.
it's a social debt we're going into. We're expecting to have billions of people listen to the show, so we'll definitely sell out for
At least one Kylie Jenner.
at least one Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
If you
To
know
tell us
Kylie
she
Jenner,
hates us.
if you know Kylie Jenner, or you want to know more about Kylie Jenner, if we can get any famous people to actually listen to our ramblings, I would just be so happy. Because we did have, for the last show for Drunk Guys Live, we did have the lead singer from Spin Doctors for a minute,
That's true.
and that was kind of nice. And now we're just back down to Tay Sunday, who sings Chocolate Rain, which is a reference that most people probably don't get anymore. But he's a very nice guy still. So
They must be new to the internet. I mean, that was kind of huge for a while.
we're old, Adam.
Yeah,
New to the internet.
Yeah, Chocolate Rain was 10 years ago.
probably. Yeah.
Oh, probably longer than that.
Yeah, so we're talking
Yeah.
in the internet world forever.
Yeah, there's just
A
there's
fucking
too much.
eternity.
There's too many.
Triassic period.
There's too many Kylie Jenner tweets to read before you can even get to
Let's put it this
the.
way, Kylie Jenner was like 6 when Chocolate Rain came out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So it didn't exist, basically.
Yeah, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
No one was alive back then.
If you have any thoughts on this idea of Kylie Jenner, or if you're a big fan of Kylie Jenner, honestly, and you want to try to help defend her in her honor or whatever.
Or at least tell us what she does.
So, well, not even that. Like,
It's just 25 million people going to call it.
the question for you is: should one person, especially one person who is a star within quotes, have that much influence on major markets? I mean, the Wall Street
Yeah.
flipped out about losing that many people.
Yes.
Should one person have that much power?
Yeah, Snap is where they make money on their area of business with employees,
Yeah.
and one person that kind of influence affects hundreds of people, maybe not having their job tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, because
So-
keep that in mind too. It's
Yeah.
like this concept of well, sure, whatever. It's internet stuff. It's still fucking people's jobs, Like,
Yeah.
Can
If
she bring
you-
back MySpace?
MySpace
even-
is still there, buddy.
I know, but
Yeah,
Yeah, they did bring back MySpace.
Timberlake brought it back.
yeah,
Oh.
among other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you have any thoughts on this, please 802-359-7468, text or voicemail. Let us know what you think about what we think, or questions at contentpenny.com. We are going to take a break, and we'll come back with something else. Bye. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Content Pending, the show. I'm still Travis, still have Dylan, still have Billy, and we have Waters across the road.
That you do.
This is the third segment. We're going to be talking, in this segment, I'd like to talk about hot dogs.
hot dog.
I'm going to talk about hot dogs because
It's a big debate.
it is a big debate. So, well, this specific debate, I think, is big in all the wrong reasons, because it's stupid, because there's reasons to believe. So if you've been on the internet from the last at least couple of years, you maybe have seen or adjacently seen the conversation, the argument, that hot dogs are sandwiches. I can't not disagree with that more, because I think it's also just like saying, well, yeah, but I can put I could put Xboxes on my feet, but they're not fucking shoes. You know, there's a certain designation that we make, and eventually it made people have to make culinary designations of what makes a sandwich, which is also
You're a line drawer.
Right.
You drew that line.
I have to draw that line because I know what words mean. You know, or what did Dan Harmon say? It's like. Oh, it wasn't Dan Harmon. It was a guy. It was Notch who said, "Words mean things, or otherwise they'd be magic spells." I think. I probably butchered that, but so the new thing apparently was new as of last year, but it's something that's popped up on my feed recently. Is this theory that Pop-Tarts are ravioli?
Yeah, it's because the meme taken from so there's a YouTuber, Steven Crowder, conservative YouTuber.
Yeah.
And he will go to like campuses and things like that. He'll set up a table and he'd have that, and it would have that question printed, like whatever his question was. Like he'll have there are only two genders. Change my mind, and like interview people based off of that.
Yeah,
and that's part of his show. People have taken that and memed the sign on his table to say whatever the fuck they want.
Gotcha.
Right.
The best of which was Pop-Tarts or ravioli. Change my mind.
Well, actually, my favorite one. My favorite one was urine is stored in the testicles. Changed my mind.
Urine is produced by the balls.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Changed my mind. But yeah, that's the one that popped up. That's the thing that that popped up again, and I saw it multiple times on Facebook. I saw that picture. When I knew it was a Photoshop because I was pretty sure he was talking about gender identities or identity politics or whatever.
That's what he does.
That makes sense because this is the one I remember the first. Is male privilege is a myth. Changed my mind.
Yeah,
you know, and it's him. And the picture is great because you can look at right in his fucking face. The picture is of this really, really, it's like smarmy looking motherfucker, and you know for a fact that no one's ever going to change that dude's fucking. You know, I mean, maybe eventually.
That's the gotcha.
But that's the gotcha. But so they photoshopped it. And it says Pop-Tarts or ravioli. It was actually spurred back in June, I think, of last year, based on the hot dog. There's a reason why it was prefaced with the hot dogs and sandwiches thing. Yeah. It was a tweet. It was July 7, 2017. Okay, listen, the sandwich discourse has played out. We need to have a new discussion. Pop-Tarts are kind of ravioli. Go. And since then, it's turned into a bunch of nutso stuff. Broccoli is a form of toast. It's a base with extra non-homogeneous stuff on top of it. If Pop-Tarts are ravioli, then Cheerios topographically are penne, and individual ravioli are casseroles, and multiple are a salad.
That's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. And so wrong. Everything about it is wrong, in my opinion, because they really just look at the shape. Like, number one, I don't think bread is pasta. I think pasta is technically a form of bread, but bread is not pasta.
And Pop-Tarts are not made of anything remotely related to bread.
Well, I mean, okay. Now we're talking about Kellogg's Pop-Tarts specifically. Toaster pastries, Pop-Tart that you can make that is not a Pop-Tart with a TM at the end, just for the sake of saying maybe it's made of food.
It might be flour.
It's a pastry-like thing.
Sure, I'm okay giving my kid this.
Flour, right. Flour and water, maybe some kind of egg base, I don't know, with some stuff on top and stuff in the middle. That's why we consider like a toaster pastry or whatever. But the thing about a ravioli is dough that is turned into pasta, boiled, and then something else.
Well,
you don't boil Pop-Tarts.
Also,
well, it's filled. Yeah. It meets everything else except for the fucking boiling part. You can't boil Pop-Tarts. It literally.
You can.
Well,
it's just not advised.
It's not advised because
that's not how you serve them.
That's not. Well, no. I mean, like they'll just fall apart. They're just like that's the difference between bread and pasta.
Did
for
we
example.
ever sous vide a Pop-Tart?
No. We only did it with the Hot Pocket.
The Hot Pocket. Yeah.
Was the middle still ice cold and the outside was still 1,000 degrees?
Well, no. I left it there for like 2 hours or something, and it wound up being all right. You know.
Yeah. It was fine.
So sous vide is a way to make it work.
Only because of this, I do believe that the theory about hot pockets is that they have to be broken in some way so they distract you from how awful they are. If you don't know that in the middle of that thing is going to be molten hot or maybe frozen, you don't have that concern. And you don't have the other concern of, am I going to die after eating this? It would destroy their business model.
How bad exactly is this for me, Doc?
Right.
So we'll definitely need to try to boil a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Put that on the internet.
Might as well, yeah. Well, not a boil, sous vide.
Well, we do both. Yeah.
Well, sure. To boys.
Yeah. We have to have a control for our experiment.
If Hot Pockets came out with a toaster ravioli, I would probably buy it at least once.
Oh, yeah, at least once, yeah. I remember I'll regret anything once, yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Taco Bell.
So if you're confused why a Pop-Tart would be ravioli, think about, okay, think about it like this. You know, if you're looking at, I don't even want to try to fucking explain it. Go look it up if you want to. You can go to knowyourmeme.com and find out information about this. Because it brings up all the other crazy ones. Is cereal soup? Is it a soup? Because it's ingredients in a liquid. Because soup can be cold.
Gazpacho.
Exactly, yeah. So
No, gazpacho's not soup.
Is ice
Gazpacho is
cream
topping.
frozen soup?
is ice cream frozen soup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. No. And I think it's the same reason because I like this
But
argument.
it's melted ice cream soup.
Ah.
No. It's closer to pasta. And here's why.
And it's not a milkshake.
Because the actual liquid, when you put a broth with ingredients, the ingredients are actually... the ingredients themselves get a base of whatever that broth is to enhance their flavor. Sometimes it's rigidity or it's toughness. Cereal does not get enhanced by the milk. Cereal actually exists on its own. It had a culinary designation for hundreds of years or whatever. But it is not enhanced by the milk. It's actually the opposite. So the milk is actually more of a sauce. So cereal is closer to a pasta than it is to a soup, which is minestrone, which is right in the middle between a pasta and a soup.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah. So ice cream would actually fall in that designation as well because it's basically milk that's been colder.
But we still agree that hot dogs are not sandwiches.
Hot dogs are not fucking sandwiches.
Yeah, I'll
There's
never.
no debate on that one at all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll be first against the wall or whatever it takes, but I will never believe that a hot dog is a sandwich.
And for those people who might disagree with us, you can go to Atlantic, actually, and they have a really simple chart, honestly. A hot dog is not a sandwich at the Atlantic. It needs to have 4 things to make a sandwich. Exterior pieces, carb-based, portable, and horizontal orientation of ingredients. Hot dogs are not served that way. In fact, lobster rolls are hot dogs before hot dogs are sandwiches. There's so many different versions of a sandwich that you'd think is like, well, no, they're open face and they're like let up or whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like, no. That's it. That if you're using it in a unique way, it's not exactly as it's intended. Hot dogs are not sandwiches. Pretty fucking simple, guys. But I do love.
You try to move the goalposts all you want.
Right.
You're still wrong.
Right. You're still wrong. And it's fine to be wrong. It's fine to have conversations about it.
Yeah.
But like, other people say like, well,
Check
maybe
yourself.
is quesadilla just like a flat taco? Like, no, it's a fucking quesadilla.
Yeah.
It's
It's
closer
made
to a
up.
panini.
Right.
It's not a panini because we have rules.
Which panini is the GoBot to the greatest sandwich. We're back to the sandwich. See, it always comes back to the sandwich.
I thought I was getting back to GoBots.
No, it's the GoBots to the Cubanos Transformers, as that is the greatest of sandwiches.
Well, Cubano's not close to a panini. It's
They're
just,
both pressed.
They're
is
pressed,
why.
yeah.
Yeah, they're heat pressed sandwiches, sandwich-like objects.
Sure.
But
Big shout out to
paninis-
George Foreman
Yeah.
for helping me make
Really changing the game.
for really changing the game. Yeah. Was that supposed to be Mike Tyson's or something?
God
No,
knows.
I think
Here's another.
I think it was supposed to be somebody else's, but George Foreman came in and got it. Yeah.
Here's a completely random thing that I read about recently. Apparently, the way this was written was actually interesting. It was TIL. It was on Reddit. Michael Jordan was at a casino and he tipped his waitress $5, a $5 chip. Wayne Gretzky stopped the waitress, took the $5 chip, gave it back to Michael Jordan, and gave her a $100 chip, and looked at him and said, "This is actually how you're supposed to tip in Vegas."
Wayne Gretzky, everybody.
To Wayne Gretzky, everybody.
That's why they call him the Great One.
I had a dream the other night that I woke up in a start. I don't know why it was so exciting, but I had a dream that I figured out hockey. Not that I figured out the rules, not that I figured out how hockey plays. I figured out the cultural ramifications of how hockey is important to mankind, and I don't remember a fucking second after that.
It was definitely a dream.
It was definitely a dream. It's cold and they fight a lot. I do remember saying like,
I'm willing to
there's
bet
there's a lot to do with the chaos. The chaos is really important. It's like entropy.
I'm willing to bet whatever reasonings your subconscious came up with would not stand up to scrutiny in reality.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty
really
pretty
think-
smart when I'm asleep.
I think you are. I think you are too.
Yeah, just ask me.
You've made more than one convincing argument on some very obscure topics.
Sure, only while I'm asleep though.
Right. But I just don't attribute a whole lot to any sport like the bettering of mankind as a whole, humanity.
Is
as
there a sport?
thing.
Is there any kind of sport? Is karaoke a sport? Can we say that?
It can
No.
be.
Competitive karaoke?
No, karaoke's not.
Actually, Jeff Ross did a really great bit about that years and years ago.
About karaoke being a sport?
It was called Karaoke Nights with a KN.
Okay.
But it was like a short of people taking karaoke really seriously.
Too seriously. Yeah.
It was really actually quite
Like
cute.
for money. That's what I keep thinking. Is like I'm sure that's a thing. More than zero, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, bowling's still a thing. So
Bowling is it is.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a sport. You can play.
Oh.
You can play by yourself.
It's a game.
Yeah. A sport is not played by against nature. You know, it's not Orwell. It's-
curling is still a thing.
curling's still against another team.
I know that's two sets of wrong people.
I love curling. I think curling's awesome. Andrew calls it ice scrubbing. My wife calls it ice scrubbing.
Ice cream.
And I am really proud, because I do like curling. I think it's interesting. But I'm really proud that I saw 3 memes about curling, which before was 0. That means that
Yeah.
enough people are making memes about it. Because like, it's not difficult to make memes, but it does take some time, especially if it was brand new. And these are like animated GIFs of people doing the curling thing, but instead of the puck or whatever, it's cats.
Yeah.
And so the cat's bumping into the spot, and there's just a bunch of cats like kind of bumping out of each other. And it's like, it's an animated GIF. It takes a little bit of time for someone to do that. But just some other like people who like my favorite was actually from a restaurant here. I can't remember, but it's someone with the water bucket, like a mop bucket. Like it was a still picture of just them holding it out, and 2 people with 2 mops ready to scrub it out. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's enough for me, you know.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying I don't appreciate
I'm
that
the minority,
curling
I think, in curling.
exists, but curling is akin to the Kylie Jenner
But no,
phenomenon. Like, it's our fault. It's
No,
dumb as shit.
I have to push back. I think curling has to be considered an official sport now because this year at the Olympics, someone got kicked out for doping. So that makes it a real sport.
I need you to look up an article about the specifics of this individual's doping habits, because I'm relatively certain it has nothing to do
He was
with
Russian.
enhancing the performance of the sport.
That's what he was pushing back on.
He's
but-
a meth
yeah.
head.
But it doesn't matter. He got kicked out for doping.
he was
curling.
positive for the substance meladonium.
Yeah.
Let's figure out what that is real
I just
quick.
like to picture a Roomba instead of whatever the puck thing is.
Yeah.
And
A lot of memes
And the
are made-
Roomba's
Yeah.
like,
are
guys,
made
I've
that
got
way.
this. Like, no need to sweep. I've got
Yeah.
this.
It's for heart conditions and diabetes. It inhibits the synthesis of a substance called carnitine when the cells in the body need to burn fat to produce energy.
Okay, well, how does that improve his performance at curling?
The next article is the effects are hazy.
Huh.
Because it's happened before, I guess. You
So
know,
they're just
it's
trying to-
effective in treating heart ailments, strokes, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, as well as improving people's moods and sexual performance and sperm motility.
Yeah, I think it was used
Oh,
like,
of Boris.
as
Excuse me.
a mood stabilizer, so you had more focus. That's
Yeah.
why they qualified it.
Man,
Focus.
whatever. This is the Winter Olympics we're talking about. The
Hey,
least
we-
popular Olympics
Yes,
ever.
and you're
They
also-
are just drumming up drama to get clicks.
And you're talking about the International Olympic Committee, which is one of the most corrupt organizations that has ever existed, basically.
Sure. That's where the mob went.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they got bored.
Yeah. They went to
Joey, it's snowing.
Yeah.
No,
They
you know,
went,
I
they
went
went to snooker and the Winter Olympics.
Fucking snooker.
Do you know the street value of this mountain?
Yeah. I can't feel my left arm. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if we ever find out there were vampires in our universe, that they would all actually be part of that committee, the Olympic committee. Like some kind of blade thing. It's like, well, that's all we could do, and it's, you know...
Look, by the 1800s, we were out of ideas. man.
Yeah.
So we brought the Olympics back because
It sucks being
reasons.
immortal without actually being able to
Yeah.
push people down or whatever. And like,
Then we were going to...
blood sandwich? Blood
Yeah.
sandwich?
couple hundred years later, yeah, we're going to kill this kid. And
Yeah.
he was like, no, you guys should take over the Winter Olympics. And we're like, huh, this kid's got moxie.
Let's eat him.
Let's eat him.
Let's steal his moxie.
Let's eat him and then
I'll tell you what.
look up what this Winter Olympics is.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If you can slide down this mountain faster than I can catch you, you will live.
Ah, yes. I like
And I'll
this
give you a gold medal.
alternate history of the reason. Yeah.
So it's like
It started with
It's
wrestling.
like that fucking DOS skiing game that the monster always eats you. At
Yeah. The snowman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ski time or whatever it was called.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't
Ski
know.
free. Thank you, Bazzi. Let's take another break and we'll come back and do one last segment and say goodbyes. Bye. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yeah.
Content the show. So Dylan, Travis, Adam,
I'm Adam.
Billy.
and Billy. This is the last segment, so we have some things we should round out about. I can't remember. We were going to talk a little bit about Black Panther, $426 million American.
Wow.
Or is it hype or not? There was one more thing from the last segment. We were talking about the hot dogs and sandwiches, and also if Pop-Tarts or ravioli, which is just still makes me laugh to think. And so one of the counter arguments was really a counter argument, but for people who don't understand the irony of the thing, they think that it's an actual argument for, yes, for sure, ravioli and Pop-Tarts are the same thing. Are toasters just printers for bread? Which would actually be the opposite, I think. And printers would be toasters for paper. I mean, you're still burning something on, and what they're saying is like, no, that's not how things work. Just like how you can't boil a Pop-Tart to eat it, whatever. But yes, so...
Well, I don't know. I think we should test that theory, and by we, I mean you.
No, of course, yeah.
You guys need any drink?
No, I'm fine.
Can I get
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, so Black Panther. Black Panther, for those who don't know, Black Panther was one of the highest tweeted Marvel things 3 months before it even came out. It was one of the most highly anticipated Marvel movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
So Kylie Jenner liked it.
Kylie Jenner liked it for sure, yeah. So 25 million people liked it at least from that.
Just from watching the trailer.
I mean, it was guaranteed to make money. You know, it was absolutely guaranteed to make money.
It's a Disney Marvel.
Yes,
but it's been out for about 3 weeks and it's already at $426 million. It was great. The small synopsis of the thing, if you've seen any of the Marvel movies so far, especially Civil War, Avengers Civil War, the third movie, or excuse me, that is Captain America Civil War, the third movie. It's 18 years of this shit, guys.
It's your fault.
Black Panther is the main character's name is T'Challa. T'Challa is settling back in Wakanda. Wakanda as this it's a fictional universe, fictional country.
So not a shithole.
That is incredibly technologically advanced and very, very isolation.
Although a similar one exists in Illinois.
What is that?
No,
There is a Wakanda.
That's Kokomo.
Yeah, there is a Wakanda, Illinois, who's tired of people tweeting at them to give them their vibranium.
Okay, sure.
Because they didn't really understand for a long. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that sounds pretty great, actually. And so he comes back to Wakanda, and it's Marvel in a lot of ways, Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU in a lot of ways, but it's also probably one of the more complicated natures of a thing because Wakanda, as a fictional place, has all this technology and is not sharing with the rest of the world because they want to stay private. They want to stay secretive for their own personal reasons without spoilers or anything, especially because the rest of the people on this panel has not seen the movie, even if you know a lot about it. I don't want to spoil too much. Yeah. But it does bring up two interesting things. One, that Marvel has finally made a complicated movie with a complicated plot. Not super complicated, but very comic book complicated in a way. For that, the first question will be, or the only question for that is, do you think they're going to learn from that, or are they just going to go right back into we have one bad guy, we're going to fight him? I think we can all probably agree that they're not going to learn from any of this and just say,
I believe the answer to that is if I may borrow from Riddler Media, Thanos in the house.
Sure. The counter argument for that, I mean, we have seen, because of the success of Deadpool, studios taking a little bit more about just letting more things go, but that's not necessarily saying let's make a better plot, because even Deadpool wasn't really that strong of a plot as much. It was even more basically simple, but whatever.
This is character driven.
What Marvel's they're not going to learn anything, but what they're going to do is look at this the same way they looked at, say, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
They're like, oh my God, look at all the blood in this stone we can squeeze out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what they're going to do, and it's going to get tired.
Now, the question I asked off air, I think it's worth bringing up. If you've been to any of our other ventures, you've heard me for a long time. I was Marvel fatigue before it was cool.
Yeah. You've had superhero fatigue for a very long time.
You're so hipster.
That's right.
Yeah.
I twirled my mustache, waxed it, everything. I was there at the beginning of the fatigue.
Right.
So my question to you,
it is 18 years.
Yeah.
So it is like, oh man, Marvel movies back in my day were just so far yada yada.
That's right.
Back in my day,
Yeah.
X-Men won. They won against Magneto.
How could it be Days of the Future and the Past?
But my question to you,
off air.
Black Panther's getting a shitload of hype, making a lot of money. And the question I asked, I think it's worth sharing to our audience: is it actually good, or is just the bar been lowered so goddamn much by all the watered down fatigue we've been dealing with?
Right. And my response was they're not mutually exclusive, those questions. Yeah.
Yes, and that's a great answer.
Yeah.
but but to your point, you actually mentioned that because it actually has a plot,
Mm.
that's not just a thing floats up in the air for 20 minutes and falls to the ground.
Right.
It's complicated. No, they're not complicated, but
Yeah.
it's more complex. It has dynamic
And
range.
I would say, even though I'm taking some liberties with the way you phrase that, there is something, because you didn't say a city or a building. There is something like that at the end.
An aircraft carrier?
It's not an aircraft carrier. It's not that big. It's one thing that they have a time.
Is it a submarine?
No, it's not that low.
But something does float in the air while they
Space
fight on
helicopter.
it.
Something is definitely trying to get away, and they have to stop it. Which is basically the whole concept of that trope is like, we're working on a timeline. It's going to be very disastrous to the entire world if this. That's fine. But it does okay, positive things. Complicated plot, complicated villain, a villain that you can actually empathize with, or with whom you can empathize or sympathize.
From what you mentioned before and what I've heard, it's the villain is not a black and white cartoony bad guy. He actually has a...
Which, that's exciting because Marvel's had basically nothing but throwaway bad guys for the last, 3 movies.
Yeah.
Just garbage.
Yeah, just garbage. And sometimes it works fine for Ant-Man. Ant-Man's probably one of the most basic of all the Marvel movies.
And also one of the better ones.
But it's wonderful because
the basic bitch of Marvel.
Well, but it does very well with its simplicity. It's a fun movie. It's funny. It's got Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, he's just fucking wonderful, no matter how he's Paul Rudd.
Yeah. He doesn't age.
Very, very simple. And Homecoming is also very simple, but it's simple and it actually plays to its simplicity so fucking well that it's a very compelling villain. Like this idea of this guy who just cares about his family and he's just trying to make sure that the people who were working with him in the original project before things happen, fucking wonderful.
They're taken care of. Yeah, I mean, he was a complicated person. I really liked that bad guy.
Wonderful. That version, especially that's the best version of the way you can tell that story or that villain. But this villain is more complicated, and there's even a bait and switch with the villains in the movie, which might be a spoiler. Sorry about that, but it's actually worth viewing. Personally, I found some of it to be boring, and I found some of it to be shallow, but not more boring or shallow than some of the other movies, and also at the same time more boring and shallow because they're trying to tell a complicated story. There's downtime, there's exposition opportunities that were actually kind of more heartwarming and wholesome than, well, we're going to talk for a bit and then banter and then make a joke and then something explodes.
To very similar, and we are huge fans of their media. They did their Black Panther thing, and Jay,
I think it's Jay. Yeah,
the one looks like Pope Tim but shorter. The bearded one,
Pope Tim.
The bearded one.
The bearded one. Yeah.
He made very similar points that there were parts that he was really into. That the way he was, if I'm remembering correctly, he was saying it's more the political intrigue things, the complexity of what's going on.
Yeah.
And then there were parts where he was falling asleep, which were mostly the action sequences. It's okay, here's another thing where people are fighting or whatever. So.
Right. He wanted to know more.
He wanted to know more about the actual universe they were talking about and less about his car going to go boom.
That common argument that people have. It's we see Wakanda in a big flyover, but then we only see a waterfall and one street. Where are the doctors? Where are the scientists? Where are the people? Who does
we
what?
only meet one scientist the entire movie, too.
Yeah, it didn't make any fucking sense to them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't bother to show any of it. Yeah. He's I was more interested in how that place works and learning about how that place works than I was with whatever Black Panther's car chase scene is next.
But the point being, there was that element of the movie that attracted a more cerebral interest in the movie.
Yes.
That seems to be a common thread I've heard from you and people I respect.
That's good. That's good. In one way, but it also fails in the universe building, like he was saying. Because Wakanda doesn't make sense. There was a secondary conversation.
Societally
doesn't make sense. Culturally, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Can't get that far under those rules.
No, I challenge you to death to become the leader now.
That's the only way you can host the show is you have to murder. Okay, see?
I have to murder you to become the host.
Yeah.
No, I'll get lawyers.
Still champion.
Come on, things moved on, and then things can move on. You can't get to because at that point, if you think about it, you're that technologically advanced that fast before everybody else that you're cloaking your entire nation from everyone in the world.
Yeah.
All it takes is one guy off his fucking meds
with a red baseball
to get
cap.
to get the right technological piece to cap the current king, and everybody's got to bend the knee to that guy. That's how they work?
No, that's not how it works. It's not just whoever kills. That guy just goes in the traps, and then they have to have all the the 5 nations that make up Wakanda will then fight to make the next king. You can't just murder the guy.
No,
There's a whole process. It's melee weapons under the waterfall with everyone cheering. It's very simple.
Around on platforms that you have no idea how they got.
It's worked for millions of years in Wakanda. Okay, and actually, and I'm obviously being facetious at this point.
That's where the funny happens.
But it does lead into this concept, like, because you brought in this idea of, like, what if there's just one guy who's like, I don't like Wakanda anymore. I have to keep the secret. Just like any conspiracy theory, like, 100% of people who were involved in the conspiracy theory didn't say shit. 100% of all the people who helped take 9/11 down were be like, nope, I promised I wouldn't say anything. Fuck you. Especially with Kylie Jenner around.
Hey, I pinky swore.
Yeah. So
that means something, sir.
But if they have that much serious tradition and everyone's just constantly happy because they have immortality or whatever the fuck, then maybe it makes sense for them to say like, no, this is a pretty sweet gig. We got a Starbucks on every corner. We think we can only see the one.
Why couldn't we see that?
Right. Again, like I said off air, then there's at least one fucking Margaritaville at that place. If it exists in Jurassic World, then it's in Wakanda.
Different
I don't. What I mean is what
is it?
What a lot of the
Disney's listening.
It's all Disney. Hi, Disney.
Sorry.
You can buy our show.
From what I've seen so far, what a lot of what was presented of how shit goes down, is it harkens to honor culture.
Yeah.
That was pre and during medieval, kind of like prior to Enlightenment thing. Yeah, it won't take long. The problem with that is
that's like, a wrap it up sign.
While it makes sense on paper, it is incredibly easy to exploit, and it would be immediately exploited. Sort of like how communists. And people say, like, oh, it's never been tried. Yeah, it has. And it devolves into a tyranny immediately. Yeah. And everybody starves. Awesome. Millions dead.
There's even more particular problems I can't bring into when you actually see the thing and with spoilers and et cetera. But I still do recommend people see it.
Yeah, that was my final thought.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Yes, go see it. Go buy a ticket. Theater.
Eventually, I'm going to do my own, because I've been talking about wanting to do my own rating system and actually rating movies, and because I have 3 bases of stuff that's important. I think really what's actually important doesn't have to be a 0 to 10. It's just 3 questions: did I like it? Yes or no. Is it good? Yes or no, because those are different. And was it popular? Yes or no.
Does popularity matter to you?
Popular matters to people who want to look
matters
at
to
want to
Jenner.
read. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Right.
That's actually a very thoughtful system.
Because I like Last Action Hero. It wasn't very popular and it's bad. Like that's
But it's an awesome movie.
Yeah, it's an awesome movie that's bad.
Yes.
That's why I love it. But not popular. So
I prefer the old school rating system, Siskel and Ebert.
just because
Thumbs
they
up, thumbs down.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to get sued.
Yes, sorry.
So you gave
one of them's
you gave
dead.
Black Panther 4 out of 5 lobster rolls.
No, 17 fire trucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just 3 shots of Deep Eddy Lemon.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
It's a 1, 2, or 3 shot movie.
No, I liked it. It's good, with exceptions, but it's good. Technically, a good movie, and it's popular. So it's a recommendation. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I probably won't see it again though.
But you paid for it in a theater, and you weren't disappointed with that purchase.
Yeah. No, I walked away and said, "All right." Yeah. Which is better than a lot of things. My bar is low.
That might be another factor. Like, would I pay for it in a theater, or just wait for it to come out somewhere else for free?
Yeah. Doesn't
Sure.
need to be seen on a big screen.
Well, actually, big screen is
No.
big screen is separate from watching it. Though. We'll have to dive into this. This is a complicated system.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing to
Yeah.
add into it.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out. Anyway, with time for one more question, one more concept for the table. Abortion. No, actually, we're done. This is the end of the show.
Sorry, Justin.
We have run out of time. I want to thank everyone for coming to hang out with us and doing the show with us for the first episode of Content Pending the Show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Billy.com.
Yes.
We hope to see you again as quickly as possible. Adam McWaters, you as well.
Of course.
I love you so very much. And Dylan, thanks for helping me run the
I
show.
just want to make sure we thank
Hey,
Billy
look.
for keeping up his promise of not talking.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
wait,
yeah.
no, I tried to break that promise.
Travis, look, they left half a label sticker cut onto my lemon.
Oh, your lemon still has labels, huh?
Yeah.
That's good luck, I think.
Branded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much for organic.
My diet's ruined.
It's okay. It's natural horse glue. It's fine.
If you like this show, we appreciate you for liking this show. This is the first episode of basically, a new version of the same thing that we've been doing for a while, but we're trying to take this a little bit more seriously and take a little bit more focus. If you want to hear, like I said at the beginning of the show, if you want to hear more crazy things or the kind of like whatever, we're going to record the After Hours segment right after this, which is going to be 40 minutes of no breaks and just whatever the fuck we feel like.
Shots.
If you enjoy that. Yeah, shots, of course, are going to be coming.
Everyone's going to have to pee.
But regardless, go to contentpending.com. Contentpending.com. You can look for further updates or episodes of this show. This is going to be on iTunes. It's going to be Stitcher. It's going to be Google Play. Any place where you can get any kind of podcast, because getting podcasts is not difficult, and we're not going to make it any harder. You can find more about, you can ask us questions at contentpending.com. You can go to facebook.com/contentpending. You can go to twitter.com/contentpending on Twitter. We are contentpending.com, all one word, spelled out DOTCOM on Instagram, because someone already had content pending. I don't know who it was.
It's like a teenage girl.
It's a teenage girl. Who cares?
It's Kylie Jenner.
Go to any of those places and to like hit us up or whatever, or 802-359-7468, 802-359-SHOT. Text, phone call, voicemail, and we'll respond to you in kind. Especially if it's about hot dogs and sandwiches, because I just love to. Hot dogs and sandwiches and flat earth people are basically the same people to me. So please test us.
Bring it.
Bring it.
The word is the phrase recently that I've been seeing from Oliver Ince is "fight me."
Yeah, fight me. Yeah.
Come at me, bro.
Come at it,
bro.
Catch
me outside.
But I've been Travis, and we hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you in a couple minutes. See you next week. Bye.
Around the bend.
So weird.
I
said it so loud that Jason dropped his phone.
I was on the edge of my seat, though, so...
Content pending.